Good morning, my knitters. How are you? This is Recreational Knitting. My name is Karen, and this is where I talk to you about a variety of different things, including my knitting. And now I have new bins that you can't see the mess behind me. The mess that is my huge stash that I'm trying to work from. Welcome to anybody that has found me. If you're new here, you're always welcome. If you're one of the OGs, thank you so much for returning. Today's going to be a little bit different. I have been waiting to do this for about a month because I wanted, well, you'll see. I hope that some of you have heard about this new little publication that is called Knit Nation. And this is, I don't know anything about the company. I have no ties to this at all, but I wanted to subscribe to it and give you my honest opinion about what I thought was good about it, what I thought maybe could be improved, and whether I thought it was for the money something that you might want to partake in. So this is called Knit Nation, and it's mailed from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I don't know if that's where they are from, but it is a little, I think it's about 16 pages. It's a little newspaper, all about knitting. They also publish one on crocheting if you're interested in that. I just wanted to give you a little synopsis about what's in it, what is good about it, and we'll go from there. This is a publication that, as you can see from the front page, does have some patterns in it. We'll just go over this kind of page by page. The first page is a letter from the editor-in-chief. Little letter here, and then some, for lack of a better word, some new kinds of things that are coming out in the knitting world. For example, there's a book by Jenny Colgan in here. I know some of you probably read some of her books. They're knit mysteries, cozy mysteries, for lack of a better word. Some new products, little, pins that you might not be aware of, where to get them. Lantern Moon, Sherpa, knitting accessories holder. So there's a kind of a product, pushing products that you may or may not know. And is it bad that I have seen all of those? I think it might be. Yeah, none of those were new to me. So, and then there's always, there are people that contribute, and it looks like it's mostly two families that run this, which I think is a great thing. Looks like a husband and wife, maybe, or I don't know, maybe brother and sister. I haven't done my research as far as that goes. I just kind of wanted to, give an overview and, tell you what my first impressions would be. They also, which is very nice, they have a QR code here that you can go to links that they provide within this paper. So those of us that are used to, internet shopping and the like, that's a great way of actually going straight from this publication to the actual shopping links. So the first page I feel like is just kind of a push for new products. Whether this is kind of a advertising, I'm not sure, because it doesn't appear that there's advertising within this publication. They do have a lot of, as you'll see, yarn we love. Now, whether Universal Yarn gave this publication any money towards this. I'm not sure. I have no way of knowing. Again, just an overview, my own personal thoughts. They have kind of light fare, this is the way to put it. Knitting star chart, meeting the brightest stitchers in the yarniverse, excuse me. Ryan Gosling, the surprising stitcher. He learned to knit on Lars and the Real Girl, which is actually a really quirky, wonderful movie if you've not seen it. Yeah, so, and they talk about different, Julia Roberts, Grace Coolidge, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Amanda Seyfried. Yeah, people that are stars that knit. It's kind of just a quirky little piece here that, light fare. All right, let's go on to the next page because this is where the meat of the action is, in my estimation. This is an actual pattern for DK socks. I've not tried them. Right now I got no mojo for socks, but it appears to be well written, and it's designed by Denise DeSantis, originally printed in No Fear Sock Knitting. Yeah, so the whole pattern is there, and then on the next page, your first sock without fear, a step-by-step sock plan you can actually finish. So it goes kind of week by week, like the first week, pick your tools and cast on. Second week, take on the heel. And week 3, settle into the rhythm. Finish strong in week 4. So there's a pattern and a way to finish this pattern, which actually I kind of like. I might I might need this myself. So yeah. And then it talks about what to look for in sock yarn, which if you're a new knitter and new to socks, you may not be aware that 100% merino is not great and cashmere yarn is not great for socks. So even though they're wonderful feel, trust me, I have, I made a pair of shorties with merino and cashmere, and they are heaven. Not heavy hitters, and I don't wear them a whole lot, but they are beautiful and soft to the touch. Let's just leave it at that. And then the next page continues this pattern of patterns. There's a cat pattern, cute, if you're into that kind of thing. That's not something that I would consider knitting. I don't know whether you can see that well enough, but very cute. If you've got a new baby coming, great little pattern. And it talks about basically how to do this, embroidering the face, stuffing, tips for that in there. And then on the next page, it continues with George the dog. So you don't have to just be a crazy cat lady. You can be a dilly-dally dog woman, okay? All right, so yeah. This is, and it gives you, some tips, which is pretty good. And we're about halfway through the publication. And this discusses how to put the dog together. So already we've got three patterns. We've got the socks and how to break that down. We've got a cat and a dog, and this is how they want you to finish the feet, the legs, stuffing, ears, those kinds of things. And then toy talk. Some tips and hints about making your toys. So if you have a new grandbaby or a new neighbor with a new baby, and a note of encouragement for beginners. So I would be in that category because I've never knit a toy. ever. Have no plans to, but you do you. All right. And then they're getting into some more meat of the actual maybe history of knitting. And this is what they talk about: Christmas in July, Down Under, knitting in an Aussie and Kiwi winter, which always I find fascinating. I tend to watch, I wouldn't say a lot of Australian and New Zealand knitting podcasts, but I have a few that I keep going back to. So it's nice to see what they're knitting, see what yarns they use. And this talks a little bit about what's going on in the knitting world in that part of the world in the Southern Hemisphere. So, they did the homage to Christmas in July. And now this is another pattern that we're going to get. So that's 4 patterns. And this is called the Chamomile Wrap. Very cute. Doesn't look too hard. This is the shape of that particular, which is a nice shape, asymmetrical triangle. And it gives you the entire pattern. And this is by the Yarn Citizen design team, which, if you've not tried it, Yarn Citizen is I'm not sure where they're located from. I think they're US based, but they have some nice wool alpaca fingering, and I think it's DK weight yarns. So if you've not seen them, heard about them, it's something to look at. And look, pattern number 5. We've got Summer Knight's hat designed by Krista Ann. And that was originally published on Explore with Knitsy. So another pattern. And then for, those of us that love these kinds of things, you got to word search. And I even wrote on here. No, I didn't write on this one. Oh yeah, I did. 5 minutes. Took me 5 minutes to do that. So they're not real challenging, but with a cup of coffee in the morning and you're just kind of waking up, it's not a bad thing to do. So word search, which, we got to get our little cognitive pump there. And then a nice little article, which is very interesting, about knitting history. And this is one about illegal lace, the underground trade that defined the law. And I had no idea about this. And there's lace smugglers, get out of town, seriously. So, and they talk about the fabric of status and subversion. And it sent a message. So, it's just a real interesting article. Yeah, very interesting. And then on the next page, they discuss how to fix lace in your knitting. So, and common mistakes and how to fix them. I have not really I read this, but I have not really digested this. So I definitely will keep this article to refer to in the future. And then pattern number 6, the Ainsley Tee. And this is by Megan Balmer, originally published on meganmakesdo.com. So for right now, I'm thinking for value, I think this is $7 a month if you subscribe for a year. Please, I'm probably lying about that, so don't even quote me on that. I could be totally wrong. But if you get one pattern that you like, I'm just thinking, if you're new to sock knitting, that sock pattern might be what you're looking for. So the cost of this is well worth it to get the tips, breaking it down, plus the pattern. Some of us need those organizational tips and tricks. I'm with them. All right, so that has the whole pattern in there. And now we are on another article, and this one is about the curious knitter, Dr. Alberta Pearlstein, on how sheep keep their cool. Okay, Dr. Alberta Pearlstein is obviously somebody made up, and that's okay. But this article is written on how do sheep keep cool in the summer. And they also talk about different kinds of wool versus cotton wool mixes, and lanolin. And then it's just an interesting little piece. And then over here, they've got a horoscope if you're into that kind of thing. So last month, my fiber forecast was your stash, this is so me, your stash is organized by impulse. Do tell. You cast on with pure joy, frog fearlessly, and somehow still finish fabulous things. That I do. Keep chasing that spark because it's working. How generic is that? I'd say every knitter on the planet. Well, not every knitter. There's 10% of you that don't organize. You have your stash all organized and don't go for this bright and shiny new things like I do. But yeah, fun. And it's all knitting related. And remember, they do have one for crochet as well. Oh, and then they have the advice column. Dear Grandma, okay. Somebody writes in and Ann Landers gives advice. I'm showing my age. Then there's a little cartoon. So they put some thought into this little paper, is my feeling, is that, you got something for everybody. Like if you have kids, you've got a little word search thing. Not a word search. What do you call this? Trying to make the number of words. I haven't done that one yet. That's the only one that doesn't thrill me. And, I'll do a crossword. I'll do, all kinds of different things. But this is pretty easy for me. Then there's another article over here. Do you knit like you drive? The Science of Muscle Memory. And it talks about retraining your hands to do, continental if you're an English knitter, and techniques that appear and feel fiddly when you first try them, and then if you practice over and over. So it just discusses muscle memory and how you automatically do certain things like casting on. I mean, teaching this beginning knitting, it's like, okay, what do I do to cast on? So you have to start, looking at your knitting differently because you're on autopilot. Just like when you drive, sometimes you go, oh, how did I get from the grocery store home? I have no clue. So then there's a little mystery cereal, apparently, that it's a 9-part mystery, and I'm not sure which. Oh, this is installment 4. So I did not get the first 3. I was kind of waiting to see what the reviews would be. So there's a cereal story in here, a little mystery, if you're into that kind of thing. All of this is written probably at about a 5th grade level, I would say. So if you've got kids that might be interested in knitting and yarny things, this might be a fun thing for them to read. Not that it wouldn't be fun for you as well, but I'm just saying that, you might have a multi-purpose if you've got grandkids or kids that are interested in that kind of thing, or just interested in general in reading. You know, it sounds like a story. So it's a serial. So you look back at the day where you had little newspapers such as this that, you know, were published once a week in smaller communities around the United States and probably other countries as well. But they used to have serial stories in them, and everybody would, you know, gravitate towards it because there wasn't a whole lot of other entertainment, you know, when you are in East Jesus, Nebraska, or, you know, Podunk, Maryland, or whatever. Exactly. So this was entertainment back, you know, in the day. There's also a maze, which took me about 2 seconds to do. But again, if you've got kids or grandkids, this might be something that they might enjoy doing as well. Then we've got something that I would never knit, but you might. It's a little purse. It's called Pretty in Pink Purse, and it's designed by Susan Frick, and it was originally published on aboxofwine.com. So yeah, so they have the whole pattern here, and I'm thinking someplace in here, certainly they don't have where you can buy the little purse thing. I guess you have to go to a thrift store and find that, or find it online your own. And then, what knitting tool are you? And it's a little quiz, like when you first start a new project, your first step is to, and my answer was dive in, because who needs a plan? All right. And then they go, your results, very scientific. Mostly A's, you're this. Mostly B's, you're this. Mostly, okay, and I got, let's see, B, C, E. So I'm divided between B's and E's, and mostly, all right, you're adventurous, always ready to take your knitting anywhere life carries you. That's true. And you see possibilities in every project, no matter where you are in the world. Perfect. And then they've got a little Mad Lib down here that's knitting related. So again, I can see that working well with kids. Hey, this is what happens when you try to do a video with dogs in the house. Let's get back to the last page, and then I'll let you go. And it looks like I will be rewinding some yarn today. Yes. And the last page is a big crossword puzzle. I did not finish it. I think I got called away by something. And yeah, would I buy this again? I think so. I think for right now, it's kind of a luxury, and I wish that it would be a little more adult oriented and a little less basic, but it's new. I'm sure that if there's other comments that they get that are similar, they may decide to do a little more in-depth kind of paper. But yeah, you get 6 patterns. So if you get one, it's certainly, if you would like to knit one, it's certainly worth it. And if you love to knit, and you know, all those knitting magazines seem to be gone with the wind these days, it's just a little substitute. Comes out monthly. Let me know what your thoughts were. Put it down there. Knit in peace.